everybody, the Law and Gnome is here.
We heard he's difficult.
Guess what, everybody? I actually have a new movie to talk to you guys about. I went to see Ford v Ferrari, which of course is the newest film that is directed by the director of Walk the Line and Logan, James Mangold, and it stars a stellar cast including the two headliners of Matt Damon and Christian Bale. So this, of course, is based on a true story of how the Ford Motor Company was sort of in a strange spot in the early 1960s, and they were trying to appeal to the new generation of car buyers by letting them know that we are going to be something flashier and something faster, and one of the ways that they wanted to prove that was by competing in some of the most well-known races against the frontrunner at the time, which was the company of Ferrari. And they put their trust into a former race car driver, Carroll Shelby, who is played by Matt Damon, and a real rebellious go-getter driver named Ken Miles, who of course is played by Christian Bale. And the two of these friends, who are definitely hot-tempered and feel the need for speed, are thinking that this is something that they can definitely do, but it's gotta be done by their rule book and at their own pace. So I was very excited to see this movie because even though I am not really someone who knows anything about cars, I don't know how they work, I don't know what makes a great brand, all I know is that as long as the car gets me from point A to point B, has a working air conditioner and stereo system, I am a happy camper. But I am someone who actually knows a little bit about NASCAR. I know about some of the names in racing, and I also am a big fan of the very underappreciated Ron Howard film Rush, which of course is the story of James Hunt and Niki Lauda during the Formula One days of the 1960s and 70s. So I had very high hopes for this movie, and it was getting a real buzz from people who had actually gone to see it. And I definitely will agree that Ford v Ferrari is a very well done film. I definitely can see this one going up into the Oscars in the 2020 ceremonies. I think that we may actually get a lot of Oscar nods for this movie because there's so many great things about this movie. I think that the script is very well paced. I think the characters are very well developed. I love the chemistry between Matt Damon and Christian Bale in this film, and I will say that this may be Christian Bale's greatest performance. And I have seen a great deal of Christian Bale's work, but this character of Ken Miles that he plays is absolutely astounding. There are so many layers to him. He is fun to watch. He's absolutely hysterical, and you can totally see Christian Bale trying to make himself feel like this race car driver who not only just drives the car, he knows the car, he loves the car, he believes that the car is a living, breathing thing, and you gotta give it tender love and care in order to push it beyond its limits. Also, there is a great score that goes along with this film, which is made by Marco Beltrami and Buck Sanders. I definitely think that it drives the film, along with a lot of 50s soundtrack, but also some of the supporting cast is really good as well. I think probably the one that really stands out is Jon Bernthal, who plays the Punisher in the Netflix series. He plays the great Lee Iacocca, and he also is a major contributor to this film because you've got Carroll Shelby, who is thinking about times that were, knowing that he has officially gone past his racing days. You've got Ken Miles, who just yearns and has a passion for being on the track. But then you've got Lee Iacocca, who is not just a simple businessman for Ford. He is one of the most well-known, innovative names in motor vehicle history that took a company that pretty much revolutionized the assembly line and car purchasing in general and said, we need to take this company out of its rut and bring it into the next generation. And we may have to take some really big risks and we may have to throw a lot of money at it, but he had a vision, and that vision was seen particularly in the events of Ford v. Ferrari. If there's anything negative that I have to say about this movie, it's the fact that it's not just Ford v. Ferrari. When it comes to true events that are depicted in film, sometimes they like to just give it the Hollywood treatment, more often than we'd like. And I feel that the character that is played by Josh Lucas in this film is really forced to be the antagonist. I'm not necessarily sure if he really was this kind of person, but pretty much for the sake of moving the movie forward, you kind of had to have some kind of a villain in this film, and this is a guy that has a personal vendetta for Ken Miles and also just wants to be the brown noser for Henry Ford II, and I just felt that it took away from this film for the sake of telling the story that was really being told in this film. It is a very good time to be had at the theaters. Once again, I definitely feel that there will be Oscar buzz around this movie. Is it a movie that I'd like to see again? Yes, I definitely would not mind seeing it again, even though it is a pretty long movie. It's over 2.5 hours long, but, you know, when it comes to high-octane racing, it's definitely something that moves the film forward, and the time will just fly by. And is it a movie that I would like to get on DVD? Not necessarily. I mean, I do already have Rush, and I do feel that if I was to put these two films side by side, I would probably choose Rush over Ford v. Ferrari any day. But it still is a very entertaining film, and I definitely think that you should see it, especially if it is a slow time for you in terms of seeing new things in the theaters. This is definitely one to see, but don't forget, we've got a lot of good movies coming in the weeks ahead. But for now, I am going to give Ford v. Ferrari a 3 stars out of 4. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please leave your comments in the box below, and let's discuss Ford v. Ferrari, and I will see you in the next one.
Across 110th Street, pimps trying to catch a woman that's weak.
Hey, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you're new here and want to see more of what my channel has to offer, please click on the link to my last video, or hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of my uploads. Content of all sorts is posted here quite often, so trust me, you do not want to fall behind. I will see you in the comments, and actions speak louder than words.